Hey guys, my name is Mukesh and I'm going to take your subject energy conservation and management. So, the first chapter is energy scenario. So, before moving to the first chapter, let's discuss that why we need to study this subject. So, energy conservation and management. So, as a saying that it is more easy to conserve and save energy than to produce it. So, if we can conserve it and if we can manage it properly, then it is easy. It is more easy than to produce it. So, basically, we will see what is the scenario in our country, what are the various types of energy. So first we will see the classification of energy. Okay, so let's start with classification of energy. So before starting classification of energy, we'll see various definitions of energy from various sources. So first point is written as energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. So it is one of the laws of thermodynamics, that it cannot be created nor it can be destroyed. And what is the definition? So definition is the ability to cause the change in object. Okay, so in other words, the ability to do work is called energy. So the change can involve either the motion or position of an object or its particles. So with the help of energy we can change something, either motion, position or anything. So that is the ability of energy. The next point is, like, according to physics, energy is a quantitative property that must be transferred to an object in order to perform work on or to heat the object. So what physics is saying that to do some work, so energy is transferred to other objects so that our work is done, or either uh, if by transferring the energy, heat may be produced. So these are the main two concepts, that energy can produce heat and work. And the last point is that from Google, that energy is a power derived from utilization of physical or chemical resources. Okay, so it is power which can be derived from resources, physical or chemical, especially to provide light and heat or to work machines. So basically energy can be converted into heat and work. So heat derived is mainly from combustion process. So these are the various definitions of energy. So now we will classify the energy. So how it is classified? So this is a diagram showing, very on the left there's a bulb which is glowing, so it's a symbol of energy. Then at the right there's a solar energy and a windmill. So these are various types or different forms of energy. So we will classify energy in various forms. So first form is primary energy sources. The second classification is secondary energy sources. Third is commercial, non-commercial, renewable, and non-renewable. So basically we can classify in 6 different categories. We can name them in 6 categories. So what is are the difference between these categories? We will see. Uh, so we will see it one by one. So first is primary source energy sources. So primary energy is the energy that's harvested directly from natural resources. So sources of primary energy fall into two basic categories: fuels and flows. So the fuels in primary energy are all primary fuel. So what it is saying that first we can derive from we are classifying the energy as primary and secondary. So what does primary means? So primary means that we are getting this energy directly from the nature. Okay, so we are not processing it. So directly, if we are getting some energy from nature, so from directly what we are getting. So the coal we can get directly from the nature. The wood we can get directly from the nature. So we can categorize as a primary source of energy. So the fuels in the primary energy are primary fuels. So country different sources of primary energy are aggregated into a quantity called total primary energy supply. Okay, so there is a new term TPES, which means that a country uh, of different sources of primary energy. So all the different sources of primary energy it has, so it is aggregated into a quantity. So all it is aggregated, and that quantity is called TPES. Okay, so this is a new term. Next is that all of human energy must come from one of this primary source energy source. There are no energy alternatives. So primary energy is contrasted with end use energy. So primary energy almost always needs to be converted through an energy conversion technology to make primary source into energy currency or secondary fuel before it used. So it is saying that whatever the primary energy we are getting, so it need to be converted using some technology to be utilized as a currency, energy currency. So or a secondary fuel before it is used. Okay, so this is called primary energy source. For example, so coal is usually put in a coal-fired power plant to generate electricity. Wind must be harnessed by wind turbine before it can generate electricity. So these are the basic examples of primary energy sources. So now we'll move towards secondary energy sources. So what is secondary energy source? So secondary energy sources are derived from primary energy sources in form of either final fuel or energy supply. So if we are deriving some energy source from primary energy source and then we are utilizing it, so then we can call this as secondary energy source. So involvement of technological processes and this transformation in between causes drop in primary energy on the way to consumer. So if we are converting some energy source to another energy source from primary to secondary, so we will see a drop in energy because the conversion process also takes some energy. So that will be a drop for in process, and that is a secondary energy source. So secondary energy sources are also referred to as energy carriers because they move energy in a usable form from one place to another. So as the primary energy sources, we cannot use it directly. And it cannot be uh, carried to far distances. So we need to convert our primary energy sources to secondary energy sources, so which will help us in carrying the energy and moving the energy into one place to another. So the two most well-known energy carriers are electricity and hydrogen. Okay, so these are most famous secondary energy sources. So as we know that electricity is not produced directly from any earth, from any environment. So we need to produce this electricity. Okay, and similar way hydrogen. So hydrogen fuel cell cars. So hydrogen also has very high power to weight ratio. So this can also be used as a transform the energy from one place to another. So these are very important secondary energy sources. So example crude oil is refined and converted into products like petrol, diesel, and kerosene. Because there is also an example of a secondary energy source. Okay, so this is the main difference between primary energy sources and secondary energy sources. So this were the first two classification of energy sources. So now we will move towards next classification of energy sources, that is commercial energy sources and non-commercial energy sources. So what is difference between commercial and non-commercial energy sources? So let's go by the definition that the energy sources that are available in the market for a definite price are known as commercial energy. So as the name suggests that commercial means the energy which we can buy directly in the market or which we can sell directly in the market is called the commercial energy sources. So which energy sources is having a demand. So by far the most important form of commercial energy are electricity, coal, and refined petroleum products. So oil, coal, and electricity are the commercial energy sources which we are using nowadays. So commercial energy sources forms the basis of industrial, agriculture, transport, and commercial development in modern world. So in industrialized countries, commercial fuels are predominant sources not only for economic production but also for many household tasks of general population. So these energy sources are not only for use for economic production but also for general population for household tasks, like electricity is required in a household for doing so much of work, like lighting, fan, and machines. So in a household also it is used electricity. So and similarly the gas like LPG or CNG, which is used as a cooking fuel, PNG. So it is also commercial energy sources which we can buy in the market. Okay, so these are the main commercial energy sources. So now we see non-commercial energy sources. So which are non-commercial means which we cannot buy directly in the market. So the energy sources that are not available in the market for a price are known as non-commercial energy sources. So non-commercial energy sources include fuels such as firewood, cattle dung, and agriculture waste, which are traditionally gathered and not bought at a price used, especially in household. So these are called traditional fuels. Non-commercial energy is often ignored in energy accounting. So why this is called non-commercial? So the main reason given is that while counting the various energy a country or a area or a state has, in that these energies are not counted. Okay, because it is not widely or most economically used. It is only used by people of who are who may be producing this type of energy source locally. Okay, so it is not very much used in by everybody. So it is not sold also at some price. So this is a non-commercial energy source. So we have seen first primary and secondary energy sources, then commercial and non-commercial energy sources. Now we will see the next classification as renewable energy sources and non-renewable energy sources. So what is difference between renewable energy sources and non-renewable energy sources? So as the name suggests that renewable energy sources means that it can be renewed, replenished again and again, and it cannot be finished in entire life. So this is the energy acquired from never ending sources of energy. So the source of this energy is never going to end. So therefore this energy source is called renewable energy sources. So never ending source of energy available in nature. So the main feature of this is it can be extracted without causing pollution. Okay, so by using this, there is no harm of pollution. Next is the renewable energy is energy that is collected from renewable sources, which are naturally replenished on human time scale. So the energy sources which we are using, so it is not degrading, it is replenished, means it is renewed again and again. For example, like the sunlight, so if we use it, so it will not get reduced. Okay, so sunlight is coming from and it will be coming till the entirety. So if we are using it, so we are utilizing it, so it will come, the sunlight will come till the entirety. So if we are using it, it will be benefit of us. Similarly, wind, rain, tides, waves, geothermal heat, so this all types of energy will come at certain time, and if we are using it, so it will be very much useful. So this all are renewable energy sources. Okay, so uh, then the renewable energy often provides energy in four important areas. Okay, so which are the four important area? So our electricity generation, air and water heating cooling, transportation, and rural off-grid energy services. So main four areas which we can check is, like, first is electricity generation. So we can generate electricity from photovoltaic cells by using solar, or also we can rotate the turbine with the help of wind energy, or with the help of tidal energy. So there is one form area that is electricity generation. The second the second area is air and water heating and cooling. So with the help of the sunlight, we can heat the air or water using water heater, solar water heater. So that is also a second area where we can use. And next is transportation and rural off-grid energy services. So we can use this renewable energy sources to create a off-grid energy service. Like we will not require the grid to work, and we can use the electricity as a off-grid energy service. And similarly, we can use this energy sources in transportation. Okay, so this is renewable energy sources. Then next is that conventional energy sources which we are using from many years, that is non-renewable energy sources. So a non-renewable energy is the energy that is obtained from conventional fuels which are exhaustible today or tomorrow with time. So this type of energy is finished as we use it. So this energy is exhaustible, means it will exhaust one day or the another. Okay, so and this energy source we cannot produce it. Okay, so it is only naturally occurring, so we cannot replenish it. So that is coal, oil, gas, hydropower, and diesel. So these all are non-renewable energy sources. So non-renewable energy sources, also called a finite resource. So is a resource that does not renew itself at a sufficient rate for suitable economic extraction in a meaningful human time frames. So what it is saying, that the non-renewable energy is very much cost worthy. It is very much costly. So the extraction of this its energy in this time frame is very difficult. As on so 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 this energy sources largely depend on availability of this energy sources. So if the demand and supply means that if the supply is less and if demand is more, the price of oil may rise and the production of the energy will increase. Similarly, if the demand is low and supply is more, the price of the oil or coal will reduce, crude oil. So this we have also seen in this example in this lockdown that the oil prices the globally were were valued as very near to zero or negative because there was no demand for the oil. So that is also a condition of the non-renewable energy sources which mostly depend on supply and demand. So an example is carbon-based organically derived fuel. So the fuel which is organic with an aid of heat and pressure becomes a fuel such as oil or gas. So earth minerals and metal ores, fossil fuels, coal, petroleum, natural gas, and groundwater in certain aquifers are all considered as non-renewable energy sources, though individual elements are always conserved. Okay, so this is a non-renewable energy source. So these are the basic classification of various energy sources. Okay, so let's just recap what we have seen. So we have seen classification of energy, then what is energy, we have definitions of energy, then classification based on primary and secondary energy source, then commercial and non-commercial energy sources, then renewable and non-renewable energy sources. So primary energy sources means we can get directly from the nature, and second, for example, that is coal, petroleum, and next is secondary sources which we are refining like electricity, hydrogen. Then commercial and non-commercial, like commercial which we can buy and sell in the market and which is widely used, like coal, petroleum, CNG, LPG, electricity, that are all commercial, and non-commercial that which we are not using nowadays widely, and very small group of people may be using it for their daily purpose like firewood and similar things. And then renewable and non-renewable energy sources. The renewable means the energy sources which can be renewed, and the source is not dependent, it can't be finished, like solar, wind, and geothermal, etc. And non-renewable means the energy sources which we are using, so it is exhausted and it can be produced again. So that is a non-renewable energy sources. So this were the basic classification of energy. So hope to see you in next lecture, and we will discuss Indian energy scenario in detail. And thank you.